Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jnana-timirandasya Janagana-salakayam Chakshusmiritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavistam Kapitam Yena Bhutale Kayam Upakara Maya Dadatisa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Varakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Saganaraganatan Vitam Sajivam Tadvaitam Sarvarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwavanis Tutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpataru Vascha Vipasindu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauda Bhaktivindam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. He wants to tell you about me, but I can just say, all I am is Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada glanced on me favorably, and therefore I've been able to remain at his lotus feet since 1968. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Now we're going to speak on Bhagavad Gita. We want to glorify Krishna and his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. Is that okay? Is that okay? The car will be there in the junkyard or something, and you'll be gone. Where are you going? Prabhupada went to MIT in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Institution for Technology. You people are familiar with technology. So that was, at the time, 1975, that was a prominent university in America, MIT. And he challenged them. Your scientists, tell me, what is the difference between a live body and a dead body? And they were silent. Big scientists, but they don't know the difference between a live body and a dead body. But we know very clearly, because Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita that we're not this body, we're the soul. And the soul is giving consciousness to the body. As soon as the soul leaves the body, then the body is just, again, product of matter. What's the body made of? Earth and water and different things. And it starts to smell very badly, very quickly, right? Especially in India, right? You have to keep on the ice. So this is not who we are. We think we're this body. It's a mistake. And it's a missed opportunity, because in the human form of life, we can inquire. Atata Brahma Jigyasya. We should inquire. Who am I? What is the meaning of life? What happens to me when I die? Who is God? The animals can't inquire like that. They're eating the same like we're eating. They're sleeping like we sleep. They're having sex life like us. They have their affection for their children like we do. So what is the difference? The difference is we can inquire, who am I? Why do I have to suffer? Why is there so much conflict in the world? And I just came from Ukraine. I was preaching there, in Poland. This is my field of preaching, Belarus and Ukraine. And now it's disrupted. Because, why? Because some stupid war. Well, why is it humans are killing each other throughout the history? Once I went to our Gurukul in Vrindavan, and I spoke to the boys there. And I said, so what did you learn today? They said, well, we learned about history. So I asked them, so what did you learn in history? Yeah, we learned history as one war after another. That's how we divide history. There's the War of 1812. There's the Civil War. There's the World War I, World War II. Why are we doing this to each other? Why is it that man is so inhuman to his fellow man? So vicious. Not only they kill, but before killing, they torture. I went to a museum in Lima, Peru, some years ago, and they had a big place like this. You know what it was full of? It was full of instruments used to torture one Christian to another. There was one machine that pulled out your fingernails. Yeah, this is how they called Christ as the Prince of Peace. What kind of peace is that? The Christians are killing each other like that. Muslims are killing each other. The Hindus are doing it too, to some degree. Not so bad. But why? Because we don't know the actual philosophy. The actual philosophy is God is in everyone's heart. Paramatma. He's even in any living entity, the Lord accompanies as Paramatma. So we shouldn't be cruel to any living entity. Animals included. What to speak of the cow, mother cow. We should protect her. She's giving milk. She's very innocent, right? So if we take care of the cows, the strong men, there's so many strong men here, we should protect the Brahmins, the cows, the old people, the women and children. This is our duty as men. But instead of protecting them, we exploit them. We kill the cow, make money in the slaughterhouse. Of course, this is Kali Yuga. Hardly there's any Brahmins left. But at least we should understand. If somebody has knowledge, he should be respected. Even in the Chinese culture, if a man of knowledge is considered the most respected person because he has some knowledge. So the Brahmin class is supposed to have knowledge. And this is the first knowledge. That you're not this body. You're the soul. If you don't have this knowledge, then you're more or less a polished animal. You may drive in a fancy car, but that also is a dilemma. I mean, I have like a cultural shock coming here to India after 20 years. The way people drive here, my God. It's like somebody's cutting in front, and it's like, is this a sport or something? How to create anxiety in the driver by crossing I can't even relate to it. But anyway, the point is, we have this rare human form. There's so many living entities, but we have a human form. Don't waste it just in the animal business, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Take advantage of this developed consciousness and inquire seriously. Krishna is giving us all the answers. Beginning with that you're not this body. Then what does he tell? He talks about the material nature. Earth, water, air, fire, ether. These things are all explained. Then he also speaks about time. Everybody's bewildered by time. Like I'm 81 now. And it's like it goes through your hands so quickly, right? How do you categorize time? What is time? These things are discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. This is your book. I'm a foreigner. Then how come you don't take it seriously? That was Prabhupada's disappointment. He came to the West because he saw that the Indian people weren't so, oh, we know these things. We learned this from our grandmother. But they didn't really know it. So he tried in the West. And we were a little receptive. Like we were hippies. We were looking for something different. And therefore, this old man came. And he was so jolly. He was so kind-hearted and caring. And he took so much time with us that he captured our heart. And we wanted to be like him. That's good. We wanted to be like him. Prabhupada didn't mind. Yes, you can be like me. Here's how you do it. This is the process. Begin by hearing and chanting about the Lord regularly. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smara. Then remember, there's 9 processes of devotional service, just like you're coming, to see. Right? You can see the deity instead of going to see some naked dance or something. This is a positive alternative. Don't see the nonsense things that just agitate. Prabhupada said you can't control your eyes, you could go blind. So control your eyes by seeing the form of the deity. But the first instrument is the ear. Therefore, we distribute so many books because you're hearing the knowledge. This is called Shravanam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When I was here 20 years ago, people didn't know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I think many of you must have learned by now. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but coming in the mood of a devotee. The story was, Radharani was serving Krishna, right? She's the best servant of Krishna. And by serving Krishna, she became so blissful, so ecstatic, that Krishna was thinking, where is this taste coming from that she's so ecstatic? So he wanted to experience that. So he came as Krishna, but in the mood of Radharani. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's complexion is golden. Radharani is golden complexion. Krishna, of course, we know, blackish blue, bluish color. But Radharani is golden. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in a golden mood, or in a mood of Radharani. And he didn't want to be seen as God. He wanted to be seen as a devotee of God. So he was teaching us, Krishna was teaching us how to be a devotee of God. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in South India and these places, are we in South India? No. This is not considered South India, right? What do you call Hyderabad? Central India? South India? But people don't know much about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he traveled through here. And it's only 500 years ago. So there are many biographers who wrote about him very clearly. So we can learn about him. You know, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. But this was only 500 years ago. And the details are very, you can say, available. There's no misinterpretation because the many biographers wrote about the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then I advise, if you please, Prabhupada took a lot of time to translate this book, Chaitanya Charitamrita, by Krishnadas Kaviraj. And we have it in English and, what is the other language here? Telugu. So is it in Telugu also? Chaitanya Charitamrita? So please, whenever I come to India, I get some kind of change of body. So I'm just, don't mind me if I have to cough a little bit, but it's not serious. So I wanted to read Bhagavad Gita, but before we start, maybe some of you have read Bhagavad Gita, and maybe you have a question. Everybody has a Bhagavad Gita here, I expect. This is our main book for explaining things. With the Chaitanya Charitamrita is there, but Bhagavad Gita is especially meant for presenting to the public. Because everybody's heard of Bhagavad Gita. Mahatma Gandhi was reading it, right? And at least every Hindu, even the Muslims, they've all heard of Bhagavad Gita. Christians, at least in India, everybody has heard of Bhagavad Gita. So why not learn Bhagavad Gita thoroughly? Then you can explain it. This is our holy text. You have Bible, but Bible is confusing. The reason being, there's no Guru Parampara to explain the Gita, or to explain the Bible. So they're confused about some things. Like they're mistaken when they think that Christ is God. He clearly says, I'm the Son of God. I sit at the right hand of God. I come to do the work of the Father. So there's two. There's the Father and the Son. Prabhupada used to say, Christ was the only good son, obedient son. The rest of us are disobedient. But he's not God. That's a mistake they make. And not that we have to punch them with this, but we should understand that because they don't have a parampara, the knowledge is not handed down. So therefore there's so many different sects of Christianity, and they even admit that you should interpret yourself. You should interpret it yourself. But that's dangerous. What is your qualification? Let's suppose I tell you that why not be a surgeon, a heart surgeon? You can make a lot of money. Here, read this book and you can be a heart surgeon. Is it possible? No. You have to study with other heart surgeons. And they have to teach you delicately how to cut and what's the danger. If this is otherwise you can't just open a shop and say, heart surgery performed here, come and give me 50,000 rupees and I'll do it. No. You have to be trained by another heart surgeon. You have to pass their test. Then you can be licensed. Similarly, you want to know the spiritual science, you should hear from somebody who knows the science. This is called parampara. So we're getting the knowledge from Srila Prabhupada. What am I? I never even heard of Bhagavad Gita when I was a young man in America. But now, I was studying it for 50 years. I can speak on it. I can speak in front of anybody. You bring me in front of the Parliament, I can give a discourse on Bhagavad Gita because I've been hearing it for 50 years. And I'm not only hearing, because Bhagavad Gita isn't just a book of knowledge, it's meant for application. Who was the recipient? Arjuna was a man of action. He was taking up his bow. He wasn't just sitting there thinking about philosophy. And why was he chosen? He wasn't a Brahmin. He wasn't a sannyasi. Why was he chosen to hear? Because Krishna clearly says in the fourth chapter, because you're my devotee and my friend, therefore I am giving this knowledge to you. So that's the qualification. Become a devotee of Krishna and Krishna will give you all kinds of knowledge. He clearly says in the 10th chapter, Tesham sarata yuktanam bhajatam piti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te tesham sarata. If you regularly, satata means always, if you're always worshipping me, Tesham sarata bhajatam, with bhajan, if you're doing bhajan to me with devotion, bhajatam priti purvakam, with some feeling, then Krishna says, I will give you the dami buddhi, I will give you the intelligence you can come to me. He's in your heart. He's ready to help you. He's ready to guide you. We have a dilemma in life, Krishna can help us. But we have to be his devotee. Otherwise, he leaves us to his external energy, the karma. Sometimes your karma is good and you feel, I'm fine, I'm happy. I'm a Birla, or who's the rich people, Tata? Who's the richest people in India? Ambani. So you can think, now I'm favorably situated, I got good karma. What do I have to learn Bhagavad Gita from some Westerner? No, he's not going to come and sit like you because his karma is carrying him away. He's intoxicated with his good fortune. But how long can it last? Few years. Like I preach in Poland and they have one thing they're called amber. It's like a jewel. They make jewelry out of it. But really what it is sap of a tree. And sometimes insects are in there. But you know how old it is? 40 million years ago, the insects got stuck in this tree sap. And then it solidified and becomes compressed, and then it's amber. And people use it as a jewelry. And so you'll find pieces with the insects still inside. But the point I'm saying is 40 million years. You know, how much time do we have in this human form of life? Can we live to 100? It's doubtful, right? Okay, maybe few exceptional people, 105. They say the limit really is 115. So compared to the 40 million years, what is 115 years? Or the general age is 70 or 80, then people start dying. So the point I'm making is, you may have good karma, but how long is it going to last? Just like when I was a young man, we had so much respect for our president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, right? He was good looking, he was young, he was powerful, he was wealthy, and then 1 second, all taken away. This is it. What kind of happiness is that? That can be taken away in 1 second. Like water on a lotus petal. It rolls off. So therefore, there's some urgency. Prabhupada came with some urgency. We felt it wasn't just a good time Charlie and he's making everybody feel good. No, he came with a serious message. Study Bhagavad Gita and learn the principles. And then you don't have to take birth again. This is clearly mentioned in the 4th chapter. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha taktva deham panajana naiti mame tu sojuna. What is that? Janma karma. Krishna speaking. If you learn about my birth, Janmashtami, what is it about Janmashtami? That Krishna is not an ordinary child. He appears with 4 hands. He gets he's not an ordinary child, right? From his childhood, he's lifting Govardhan Hill. He's killing the demons. So if we understand Krishna, his janma and his karma, his activities, janma karma, then Krishna said, Naiti mametu so. You don't have to remain in this place of birth and death, the spot life. You come back to me. But we take this life as all in all. And therefore we miss opportunity. And so the preacher like Srila Prabhupada, he's feeling compassion. He's looking for an audience because he sees that people are suffering for lack of knowledge. If we have proper knowledge, what is the proper knowledge? Brahma bhuta prasanatma nasochiti nakanchiti samasarvesu bhutesu madbhaktim labate param. So let's go over that verse. This is in the 18th chapter. Brahma bhuta. That we understand that we're the Brahman. Aham brahmasmi. We're the Brahman. Inside this body is the soul, Atma. This is who I am. Brahma bhuta prasanatma. And I'm joyful by nature. Why there's so much suffering in this world? Because we're out of harmony with our real self. Then, prasanatma. Nasochati nakanchati. These are 2 words. No more hankering or lamentation because we're satisfied in ourselves. We're not hankering, I want to get above, I want to get up, I want to make a progress. Because we see the real progress is already there. I'm a pure spirit soul. I can be joyful by myself. I learn the technique. Brahma bhuta prasanna nasochati nakanchati. Samasarva. Then we deal with everybody properly. This is the next stage. Lord Jesus also said, love your neighbor as yourself. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. Love your neighbor as yourself. We're born with false ego. The child comes out of the womb with this disease, that he's the center of the universe. The psychiatrists actually understand, psychologists, that at a certain age, like a year and a half or something, the child really thinks that he's the center of the universe. And the parents are coming around the crib, and he's the center of the universe. This is what we're born into. False ego, that I'm the center. So we have to learn to put Krishna in the center. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. You've heard this shloka from Isha Upanishad? We should put God in the center. He belongs in the center. We're trying to do that here. So we come, but here's the center. The deity is the center. We try to glorify them. We bow down to them. We offer our food to them. So we begin to learn how to put God in the center. This is our goal. This is the natural position. In the spiritual world, everybody's happy to do that. But it's voluntary because Krishna is a loving person. He doesn't force us, oh, you have to love me. He wants us to love him. When he speaks Bhagavad Gita, and when he finishes the Bhagavad Gita, he says, this is my opinion. Now do as you think. He doesn't force Arjuna. You're going to hell if you don't follow this. No, he says, this is my opinion. This is the nice thing about Hinduism. They're not forcing. Krishna doesn't force. He says, here, this is my opinion. Now you consider and do what you think is best. He leaves it up to us. This is the duty of the Lord. This is the duty of the Guru and Sadhu. They say, here is Krishna and here is Maya. Now you choose. You want to serve? You have to serve. You can't help serving. By constitution, you're a servant. You're serving your family, you're serving your country, you're serving your senses. You can't avoid serving. This is our nature. So why not serve Krishna? Jai Shri Krishna. Serve Krishna and you'll be happy. That was what Prabhupada was telling us. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So in this Kali Yuga, the easiest way to serve Krishna is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm clapping you. I'm clapping for you. I'm clapping to you because when I was here 20 years ago, we didn't have this many people who were chanting Hare Krishna. So it's very inspiring for me to see that Prabhupada's movement is being established here in a tangible way. We have so many temples in the city. So it's very inspiring for me to see that you have taken to this message of Lord Chaitanya to chant Hare Krishna. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam kalua. In this Kali Yuga, the other processes are not practical. Yoga is still there, but who can go to the Himalayas and be completely celibate and hold your nose? And it's not practical. But we can come together. Keep your job. That's okay. Work, earn money, keep your family. But come together and chant Hare Krishna. It's not so difficult. Anybody can do it. This is especially made for the Kali Yuga, where people are lazy and misguided. You don't have to change your position. Keep your job. Of course, if you're a butcher, then better to give that up. None of you are butchers, though, right? I don't think so. So some occupations better to give up, if you're a prostitute or something. But even prostitutes became devotees. So we're saying anybody can become a devotee from any position. You don't have to change your position. Like an example is given. Haridas Thakur, a leading disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was arrested by the Qazi because he was born a Muslim, but he became so-called Hindu. He wasn't a Hindu. He was a Sanatanist. He was serving Krishna. I don't consider myself as a Hindu. I really don't. I consider I'm a servant of the servant of the gopis in Vrindavan. If that makes me a Hindu in some people's mind, okay. But this designation Hindu is actually given by the Muslims of those who lived on the other side of the Sindhu River. They couldn't pronounce Sindhu properly, so they called them Hindus. They live over there. So anyway, we're classified as Hindus, but Hinduism is a term that's a bodily designation. Better we say we're Sanatanists. That's okay. We follow Sanatan Dharma. We can accept that. Sanatan Dharma means God is great and we're small, and we should serve Him. So I was going to tell a story. What was it? Prabhupada was... I can tell stories about Prabhupada because I was fortunate. I got the service of giving him a massage every day. The doctors recommended massage because he had a stroke. So he liked a strong massage. And the first day I gave him a massage when he came to London, I said, Prabhupada, I never gave a massage before, so I'm going to go to the library and get a book on how to give a massage. And Prabhupada said, that's not necessary. You read Bhagavad Gita and Krishna will tell you how to give a massage. So he was emphasizing that we learn Bhagavad Gita. That's why I'm emphasizing to you also tonight. It's a very simple subject. We can learn about karma. We can learn about the living entity and the Lord. We learn about time. And we can also learn about karma, yeah. But karma is temporary. We can transcend our karma. That was the message of Arjuna. He was saying, if I fight with Dronacharya and Bhishma, then I'm going to get bad karma because they're my superiors. So better I don't fight. That was his argument in the first chapter. But Krishna said, Kutas, why are you talking like this? You don't know the higher principles of life. You're not this body. You don't die. Therefore, as a Kshatriya, this is your duty because it's a righteous war. Every attempt was made to stop the war, but Duryodhana wants a war. So we have to act like a Kshatriya. And therefore, he spoke Bhagavad Gita. So gradually, Arjuna accepted, and then he explained very clearly, now my doubts are gone, at the end of the 4th chapter. Let's just read the translation. Chapter 4, text number 42. 42 is the last verse of the chapter. I'm going to talk about Bhagavad Gita, but I haven't even opened the book, so bad on me. So here's one verse. Tasmat agyana samhutan hitstanam jnana, I can't see too well. Jnana das atmana. Let's just translate it. Therefore, Krishna is speaking, the doubts which have arisen in your heart, because like he dropped his bow, he said, I will not fight. So the doubts that have arisen in your heart, Krishna is telling Arjuna, out of ignorance, should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand and fight. So this is the message of the Gita. He's not saying that you shouldn't do your duty. You have duty, you have wife, you have family. You should do your duty. But at the same time, think of Krishna. And then your future becomes very bright. No more birth and death. It's not a very difficult process. If somebody like me can do it, I'm a foreigner, then why not you? Everybody can take it up. You know the process. This mantra is simple. You all know the mantra. So I think I'll stop talking. If there's any questions? No questions, that's good. That means everybody's convinced. Really. You shouldn't have any question. The question should be, how can I serve Prabhupada's mission? That's a good question. How can I do something that will be pleasing to Krishna? So we say, and I saw personally, that Prabhupada was the real representative of Krishna. So once he said to a devotee, came into his room, I was there, and Prabhupada asked him, so Ishan, his name was Ishan, you remembering Krishna, Ishan? And Ishan was a little mental, so he said, well, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, that's okay. You can remember me remembering Krishna. So that was Prabhupada's position. He was a pure devotee. If we put him in the center, the Krishna will be pleased. There's no envy between Prabhupada and Krishna. And so this is the system that Krishna arranged. Evam parampara. We should approach the Lord through his representative. So Prabhupada, the representative, he's given us these books. Of course, he also, you can say, designated some of his disciples to initiate, because that generally the acharya, or he can be prominent for hundreds of years. There's like Ramanuja Acharya or somebody, but he doesn't give diksha. Diksha means you get the beads, your name gets changed, you get the neck beads. So this is the system of parampara. So I also have some disciples, but I try to just bring them to Prabhupada. That's what I was doing when Prabhupada was here, and that's what I'm doing now. I don't want them to think that I'm on the same level as Prabhupada. I'm just an ordinary guru, but Prabhupada was the empowered acharya. So everybody can follow Prabhupada, but Prabhupada told us, some of you should initiate, because there's no history in any Vaishnava tradition where the guru who has left the body, it continues to initiate in a wholesale manner. In maybe one or two exceptional cases there may be, but he designates his next succession to initiate. So this is what Prabhupada did. He appointed some people to take on this service of being Diksha Guru. But our duty is to keep Prabhupada in the center, to get people to read Prabhupada's books, to get people to come and touch Prabhupada's feet, to follow the instructions of deity worship like Prabhupada recommended, the songs that we sing that Prabhupada gave us. Every morning we sing the same song. Samsara Dava Lalalita Loka Janayaka. Any of you ever come for Mangalarti? Every morning we sing the same song that Prabhupada gave us. So we want to keep everything the same. But still, the difference is Prabhupada is not physically present anymore. So that's a distinction that we can't deny. There's some people say, oh no, Prabhupada initiated me. But we know from the Mahabharata, when Ekalavya, the forest prince, he wanted to have Drona as his acharya, but Drona didn't want him. He said, no, I'm only initiating Kshatriyas. So he didn't accept him. So he tried to force, but he couldn't. In other words, the guru has to accept the disciple. He has to say, yes, I'm willing to accept you. I think I've tested you to some degree, and I think you're a fit candidate to receive this knowledge, then only then he gives an initiation. So these people are claiming they're Prabhupada's disciples, but how do they know Prabhupada accepted them? Therefore, better to approach a living person and get the mantra, but still we keep Prabhupada in the center. If your guru tries to minimize Prabhupada, then you can reject him. No guru in ISKCON will do that. We know that we have to keep Prabhupada in the center. Otherwise, this mission won't continue. I was in a car with Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, 1976. We were coming back from a morning walk. And Prabhupada saw all the devotees were waiting for him. But they didn't see us because we came a different way. And suddenly he spoke. He said, with full conviction, they cannot check this movement. This movement will go unchecked for the next 10,000 years. Prabhupada said it with full conviction. And I heard it with my own ears. I was in the back seat. So they can't check this movement. But the greatest danger comes from within. Otherwise, this movement, I see it. After coming back in 20 years, then I was in Bombay, what do you call Mumbai now, right? I was in Bangalore, what's it called now? And I came here. I see everything is improved. So many devotees are there, serious men, chanting their rounds, taking the process as Prabhupada. So I know that this movement is going on. So please assist this movement, and then Prabhupada will be very pleased with you. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we'll be here in the morning. Anybody welcome to come? Are we here? We're here in the morning, right? What's my schedule tomorrow? Be here?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be having Srimad Bhagavatam class by Maharaj. So we request all devotees to come. Hare Krishna. So, 8:10. 8:10. Yeah. If anybody has any questions, they can ask Maharaj.
They don't have any questions. They know this thing. It's just the application is troublesome. It is a little hard because you have to change your habits. Like I was used to going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had a part-time job. I was driving a taxi. That was the best time to get the drunks out of the bars. They'd give you big tips. At 4 in the morning, they threw them out of the bar, and you go with the cab and take them home. And here's $50. They were drunk. So I used to go to bed at 4 o'clock. Now I had to get up at 4 o'clock. So it was hard. But after a while, it's easy. It's like learning how to ride a bicycle. It looks hard. But once you get the habit, it's easy. So spiritual life is like that. Because it's our natural position to serve Krishna. In the beginning, like Prabhupada gave the example of a big politician. They gave him a sweet, immediately put in his mouth. But now we have to stop and think, wait, before I put it in my mouth, I should at least thank Krishna for giving. Just a little change of consciousness. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Recognize Krishna is supplying. Just a little change of consciousness. And then we can be happy. And give up this greed and lust. These things are cruel enemies. This lust, this pushing. Bhagavad Gita 3:37. What is it? Kama esha, krodha esha. It turns to anger. It's pushing. It's never satisfied. Lust is never satisfied. Old men are paying $50 to see the naked girl in the club. They're not satisfied. In their life, they've seen so many naked girls, but still pushing. Lust is pushing. One more. Pay $50 and go and see the naked dance. So it's up to us. Krishna's not going to force us. But we can change that lust into love. This is our confirmed conviction. So please do it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We hope to see you tomorrow.